The Audi R8 story doesn't begin on a factory floor or a racetrack. It starts as a bold dream on the auto show circuit, where Audi unveiled the Le Mans Quattro concept at the 2003 Frankfurt Motor Show. This wasn't just another flashy prototype. It was a statement of intent, a declaration that Audi, a brand long associated with refined sedans and all-wheel drive luxury, was ready to step into the supercar arena. For American car enthusiasts, this was a jaw-dropping moment. Here's a car that looked like it had driven straight out of a sci-fi movie. Aggressive LED headlights, a groundbreaking feature at the time, a wide, low-slung stance, and that unmistakable single-frame, honeycomb grille that would become an Audi trademark. But what really set pulses racing was what lay beneath the surface. A mid-engine layout, a first for Audi's road cars, paired with the brand's legendary Quattro all-wheel drive system. The concept was powered by a 4.2L V8 engine, but the real excitement came from its connection to Audi's dominance at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, where the Audi R8 race car had been crushing competitors since 2000. The message was clear. Audi wasn't just building a pretty show car. They were teasing a production-ready supercar that could bring Le Mans winning tech to the streets. In the US, where muscle cars and Porsches ruled the performance scene, the Le Mans Quattro concept was a revelation. Car magazines like Motor Trend and Car and Driver went wild with speculation. Would Audi actually build this? Could it really compete with Ferrari and Lamborghini? Online forums lit up with debates about its potential price, performance, and whether Audi could pull off such a radical departure from its conservative image. The concept's aluminum space frame construction hinted at a lightweight yet rigid chassis, while its FSI direct injection engine promised cutting-edge efficiency and power. But perhaps the most intriguing detail was its everyday usability. Unlike finicky Italian exotics, the Le Mans Quattro had a spacious interior, decent visibility, and even a trunk, a rarity in mid-engine cars. This wasn't just a track toy. It was a supercar you could theoretically drive to work. Audi's timing was perfect. The early 2000s were a golden age for high-performance cars in America, with brands like Porsche, Mercedes, and even Ford, with the GT, pushing boundaries. But the Audi concept stood out because it wasn't just about speed, it was about innovation. The LED daytime running lights, now a staple on every luxury car, were revolutionary in 2003. The side-blade air intake panels weren't just for show. They channeled airflow to cool the mid-mounted engine. Even the interior, with its driver-focused cockpit and minimalist design, felt like a glimpse into the future. For American buyers tired of the same old sports car formula, the Le Mans Quattro was a breath of fresh air, a car that promised German engineering with exotic flair. But the real genius of Audi's strategy was psychological. By teasing the concept for years before confirming production, Audi built hype and anticipation in a way few automakers had before. When the production R8 finally debuted in 2006, it wasn't just another new car. It was the culmination of a 3-year marketing masterstroke. And for the US market, where exclusivity and prestige matter, that slow burn made the R8 feel even more special. By the time the first R8s landed in American dealerships, buyers were already sold. They weren't just purchasing a car, they were buying into a legend in the making. One that began with a single dazzling concept in 2003. When the production Audi R8 finally arrived in U.S. showrooms in late 2006 as a 2007 model, it didn't just meet expectations, it shattered them. This was the moment Audi transformed from a builder of premium sedans into a legitimate supercar manufacturer, and American enthusiasts were among the first to experience the revolution. Priced at $109,000. Asterisk operator. Asterisk operator. R. O. U. G. H. L. Y. 109,000 asterisk operator. Roughly 160,000 today with inflation. The R8 undercut rivals like the Porsche 911 Turbo and Ferrari F430 by tens of thousands while offering something radically different. A mid-engine exotic with everyday practicality. The design stayed remarkably faithful to the 2003 Sierra Leone and Leone's Mans Quattro concept. That iconic side blade air intake, the low, wide stance, and the futuristic LED lighting now legal for U.S. roads, made it stand out in a sea of predictable sports cars. Under the hood lay a 4.2L FSI V8 producing 420 horsepower and 317 lb-ft of torque, paired with either a 6-speed manual, a nod to purists, or Audi's clunky but cutting-edge R-tronic automated manual transmission. What made the R8 an instant hit in America wasn't just its specs. It was how it redefined the supercar experience. Unlike temperamental Italian exotics, the R8 had real-world usability. The cabin was quiet enough for highway cruising, the suspension soaked up potholes without drama, and visibility, a rarity in mid-engine cars, was surprisingly good. Journalists marveled that you could drive it daily. No overheating in traffic, no nervous high-speed twitchiness, just a rock-solid, confidence-inspiring machine. Yet when pushed, the R8 revealed its racing DNA. The Quattro all-wheel drive system, tuned with a rear bias, provided grip that embarrassed rear-drive competitors in rain or snow, while the aluminum space frame kept weight down to 3,571 pounds, respectable for an AWD car. But the R8's true breakthrough was cultural. Almost overnight, it became the darling of Hollywood and the tech elite. When Robert Downey Jr. Tony Stark chose an R8 as his personal ride in 2008's Iron Man, it cemented the car's status as the thinking person's supercar, a machine for those who valued innovation over flash. Silicon Valley entrepreneurs, who might have defaulted to Porsches, began flocking to Audi dealers. The R8 represented a new kind of status, understated but undeniable competence. It didn't need screaming scissor doors or a prancing horse badge to command respect. Its engineering spoke for itself. The aftermarket scene exploded, with U.S. tuners like APR and GMG Racing offering bolt-on kits that pushed the V8 past 500 horsepower. Meanwhile, Audi teased enthusiasts with limited editions like the R8 12 Hours of Sebring Edition, celebrating Audi's 2007 ALMS win, featuring unique badging and interior trim. By 2008, the R8 had done the unthinkable. It made mid-engine exotics approachable. Doctors, lawyers, and even savvy collectors who'd never considered an Audi found themselves smitten. When Audi dropped the bombshell R8 V10 in 2009, the luxury performance landscape shifted overnight. No longer just a plucky underdog, the R8 now packed a 5.2L naturally aspirated V10, shared with a Lamborghini Gallardo, churning out 525 horsepower and 391 lb-ft of torque. For American buyers, this was the moment the R8 transformed from a respectable performer into a full-blown exotic slayer. The engine was a masterpiece, a high-revving 8,700 RPM redline screamer that howled with an intensity previously reserved for Italian Marquez. Audi's engineers didn't just drop in the engine, they recalibrated everything. The Quattro system now sent 85% of power to the rear wheels under acceleration for a more dynamic feel, while the magnetic ride suspension, optional in the U.S., delivered race car reflexes without sacrificing daily comfort. The V10's arrival coincided with another game-changer, the R8 Spider. For sun-soaked markets like California, Florida, and Texas, the drop-top was an instant hit. Unlike competitors' convertibles, which often suffered from chassis flex, the Spider retained near-coupe rigidity thanks to extensive reinforcement. Its power-retractable soft-top, which folded in 19 seconds at speeds up to 31 miles per hour, was a marvel of German engineering. No leaks, no rattles, just wind in the hair freedom paired with that spine-tingling V10 soundtrack. But what truly set this era apart was how the R8 democratized exotic car ownership in America. At 146,000, asterisk operator, T, H, E, V, 10, C, O, U, P, E, U, N, D, E, R, C, U, T, T, H, E, G, A, L, L, A, R, D, O, B, Y, O, V, E, R, asterisk operator, 146,000, asterisk operator, The V10 Coupe undercut Gallardo by over operator 50000, while offering 95% of the thrills. Dealers reported a fascinating trend. Porsche 911 Turbo owners were trading up, not just for the power, but for the R8's exotic mid-engine drama, without Lamborghini's reliability fears. The aftermarket went wild. Tuners like O.CT and Hefner Performance offered supercharger kits pushing 650-plus horsepower, while the R8 GT3 race car's success in ALMS and Rolex series made it a favorite among amateur racers. Audi also leaned into personalization, offering Audi-exclusive paint options like Sepping Blue Pearl and Phantom Black Pearl, and custom interiors that turned each R8 into a rolling signature. The 2012 R8 GT, limited to 333 units globally, took things further with a 560 horsepower tune, stripped-out interior, and fixed rear wing, becoming an instant collector's item. By the end of this era, the R8 had done the impossible. It made V10 power and mid-engine exoticism accessible to a whole new class of American enthusiasts. Full 900-word version expands with drag race comparisons versus contemporary Gallardo/911 Turbo, deep dive into Spider's structural engineering, celebrity ownership trends, e.g., Justin Bieber's infamous yellow V10, and the rise of R8s as YouTube drag race stars. By 2013, the supercar world was evolving rapidly, and Audi responded with a strategic mid-cycle refresh that kept the R8 competitive while staying true to its core ethos. The most noticeable changes were visual, sharpened LED headlights with a more aggressive daytime running light signature, a restructured single-frame grille, and revised air intakes that improved cooling while giving the car a more planted stance. For the U.S. market, Audi made a bold move, discontinuing the V8 model entirely, making the 5.2 V10 the sole power plant, a clear signal that the R8 was now fully committed to the high-performance arena. The biggest mechanical upgrade came in the form of the 7-speed S-tronic dual-clutch transmission, replacing the outdated and often criticized R-tronic automated manual. The new gearbox transformed the driving experience, lightning-fast shifts, seamless downshifts with automatic throttle blips, and smoother low-speed behavior that made city driving far more tolerable. Purists mourned the loss of the manual option, but the performance gains were undeniable. 0 to 60 miles per hour times dropped to 3.5 seconds in the V10 Plus model, with a top speed of 198 miles per hour. This era also saw the introduction of the R8 GT, a limited edition track-focused variant that became an instant legend. With 560 horsepower, a 110-pound weight reduction, thanks to carbon fiber accents and stripped-out interior, and a fixed rear wing, the GT was the closest thing to a street-legal race car Audi had ever built. Only 333 units were produced worldwide, making it an immediate collector's item. In America, the GT became a favorite among track day enthusiasts and wealthy collectors, who appreciated its raw, unfiltered driving dynamics. Audi also focused on technology integration to appeal to the U.S. market's growing appetite for digital features. The Audi Virtual Cockpit, a fully digital instrument cluster, made its debut in the refreshed R8, offering customizable displays that could prioritize navigation, performance metrics, or media controls. Combined with an updated MMI infotainment system, an available Bang & Olufsen sound system, the R8 now offered a tech suite that rivaled luxury sedans. Despite these upgrades, the R8 faced stiffer competition than ever before. The McLaren 12C and Mercedes-Benz SLS-AMG were raising the bar for performance and innovation, while the Porsche 911 Turbo S continued to dominate the everyday supercar category. Yet the R8 held its own, thanks to its unique blend of exotic appeal and Audi's trademark reliability. The 2013 to 2015 refresh proved that the R8 wasn't just a flash in the pan, it was a continuously evolving icon. By refining its design, enhancing performance, and embracing new technology, Audi ensured that the R8 remained a top contender in the supercar world, beloved by both driving enthusiasts and those who simply wanted a gorgeous, high-status machine. When the second-generation Audi R8 Type 4S debuted in 2016, it wasn't just an update, it was a complete reinvention. sharing 50% of its components with the Lamborghini Huracan. The new R8 shed its entry-level supercar image and became a full-fledged exotic. The base model's 5.2L V10 now produced 532 horsepower, while the V10 Plus, later renamed the R8 Performance, cranked out 610 horsepower, putting it firmly in Ferrari 488 and McLaren 650S territory. The exterior design was more aggressive than ever, with larger air intakes, a blade-like full-width rear light bar, and optional carbon fiber accents that emphasized its track-ready DNA. For American buyers, the biggest shock was the elimination of the manual transmission, a move that sparked heated debates among enthusiasts. Audi defended the decision by pointing to the 7-speed S-tronic dual clutch's blistering performance. 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3.2 seconds, 2.9 seconds for the Plus, and a top speed of 205 miles per hour. The new R8 also introduced dynamic steering and magnetic ride suspension as standard, making it sharper than ever in corners, while maintaining its legendary daily drivability. But the real game-changer was the Audi Virtual Cockpit, a fully digital instrument cluster that replaced traditional gauges with a high-resolution, customizable display. This wasn't just a gimmick. It allowed drivers to switch between a minimalist touring view and a full-screen tachometer with shift lights for track use. Combined with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, the R8 now appealed to tech-savvy buyers who wanted cutting-edge connectivity in their supercar. Audi also listened to critics who felt the first-gen R8 was too safe and predictable. The answer? The 2017 R8 RWS Rear-Wheel Series, a limited edition rear-wheel drive variant that brought back the thrill of oversteer. Only 999 units were built globally, and the U.S. allocation sold out almost instantly. Journalists praised its raw, unfiltered driving experience, proving Audi hadn't lost touch with purists. By 2018, the R8 had solidified its place as a modern classic. It wasn't just a poor man's Lamborghini anymore. It was a legitimate supercar icon, with a unique identity blending German precision and exotic passion. In an automotive landscape increasingly dominated by turbochargers, hybrid systems, and the looming shadow of electrification, the 2019 to 2020 Audi R8 stood as a defiant celebration of naturally aspirated combustion, a glorious last hurrah for the high-revving V10 engine. This era marked the R8's final evolution as a pure internal combustion machine, and Audi ensured it went out with a bang rather than a whimper. The 5.2-liter V10 in the R8 Performance now unleashed 602 horsepower and 413 lb-ft of torque, with a spine-tingling 8,700 RPM redline that screamed like a Le Mans racer. What made this powertrain special wasn't just its output, it was its uncompromising character. Unlike turbocharged rivals that deliver their power in a muted digital feeling surge, the R8's V10 was raw, immediate, and theatrical, building to a crescendo with each gear change. The exhaust note alone became legendary, especially in the U.S. market, where enthusiasts cherished its gunshot bang upshifts and deep guttural idle, a sound that turned heads in every valet line from Miami to Malibu. Audi's updates for this final iteration were deliberate and meaningful. The exterior received sharpened matrix LED laser headlights with intricate lighting signatures, while the front and rear bumpers were restyled for improved aerodynamics, without sacrificing the R8's timeless silhouette. New paint options like Vegas yellow and Ascari blue gave the car even more visual pop, ensuring it stood out in a sea of grayscale supercars. Inside, the cabin blended luxury and driver focus perfectly. Diamond-stitched Napa leather seats, Alcantara headliners, and gloss carbon fiber trim reminded occupants they were in something special, while the Audi Virtual Cockpit, now standard, kept the tech experience cutting edge. Crucially, Audi resisted the temptation to clutter the dashboard with touchscreens. The R8 remained a car about driving, not menu diving. The 2019 model year also introduced the R8 Decennium, a limited edition, just 222 units globally. Celebration of the V10's 10th anniversary. With its exclusive era blue crystal paint, bronze 20-inch wheels, and copper-accented interior badging, the Decennium became an instant collector's item. Its rapid sellout in the U.S. proved that despite the industry's shift toward electrification, there was still deep passion for analog, emotionally engaging machines. This period also saw the R8 embraced by a new generation of enthusiasts. YouTube personalities like Shmee150 and Stradman featured theirs prominently, while auction prices for low-mileage examples began creeping up, signaling the car's future classic status. What made this era's R8 truly remarkable, however, was its real-world brilliance. While competitors like the McLaren 720S and Ferrari F8 Tributo chased lap times with turbocharged engines and hyper-complex aerodynamics, the R8 remained refreshingly honest and accessible. It was still a car you could drive daily, reliable enough for cross-country road trips, comfortable enough for LA commutes, yet explosive enough to shame six-figure exotics on weekend canyon runs. The Quattro all-wheel drive system provided unshakable confidence in rain or shine, a trait cherished by owners in climates like New York or Seattle. And unlike many of its peers, the R8 didn't demand a $10,000 annual service or suffer from temperamental electronics. It was, at its core, a German-engineered supercar that just worked. As the decade closed, the R8's future grew uncertain. Audi had already unveiled the PB18 e-tron concept, a harbinger of electrification, and whispers of the V10's impending demise grew louder. For astute buyers, this added urgency. These final naturally aspirated models weren't just cars. They were the end of an era. The 2019 to 2020 R8 represented something increasingly rare, a machine that prioritized feel over figures, emotion over efficiency. In a world where acceleration was becoming silent and sterile, the R8's screaming V10 and mechanical purity made it a touchstone for driving enthusiasts. By the time production ended, it was clear Audi hadn't just built a great supercar. It had crafted one of the last truly great analog driver's cars, a swan song for the naturally aspirated engine that would be remembered long after its successors went electric. As the automotive world accelerated toward electrification, Audi took a surprising turn with the R8, doubling down on driver engagement by reintroducing rear-wheel drive to the lineup, a move that rekindled the passion of purists and created a new wave of excitement around the aging platform. The 2021 R8 RWD rear-wheel drive marked a dramatic departure from Audi's traditional Quattro formula, stripping away the front axles to deliver a raw, unfiltered driving experience that harkened back to the golden age of analog supercars. Powered by a detuned version of the 5.2L V10, producing 532 horsepower instead of the AWD model's 562 horsepower, the RWD variant was lighter, more playful, and deliberately tail-happy, inviting drivers to explore its limits with smoky drifts and controlled oversteer, a behavior unimaginable in earlier Quattro-bound R8s. The RWD model wasn't just a parts bin special. Audi re-engineered the chassis dynamics to compensate for the lack of all-wheel drive. The steering was retuned for sharper feedback, the suspension softened slightly to allow more weight transfer, and the stability control system was recalibrated to permit generous slip angles before intervening. Journalists praised its analog feel, with car and driver noting it was the first R8 that truly spoke to your fingertips through the wheel. Priced at $144,995. Asterisk operator. Asterisk operator. N-E-A-R-L-Y. 144,995 asterisk operator, nearly 30,000 less than the AWD performance. It also became the most accessible new V10 supercar in America, drawing in younger buyers and driving influencers who craved its Instagram-friendly sideways antics. But Audi wasn't done. In 2022, it unleashed the R8 GT, a track-focused, rear-drive-only beast limited to 150 units globally. With 602 horsepower, a carbon fiber rear wing, and a 110-pound weight reduction, thanks to stripped-out rear seats and polycarbonate rear windows, the GT was the most extreme R8 ever offered. Yet it retained air conditioning and a sound system, Audi's nod to practicality. The GT 704 Nürburgring lap time shocked the industry, proving that a rear-drive Audi could hang with far more expensive machinery. This era also saw Audi embrace heritage and exclusivity. The R8 Panther Edition, 2022, paid homage to the original 2008 model with phantom black paint and gold accents, while the R8 Icon Edition, 2023, celebrated the car's legacy with a final year send-off featuring unique badging and a 1 of 50 plaque. These limited runs sold out instantly, fueled by collectors recognizing the R8's future classic status. The curtain began to fall on the Audi R8 in 2024 with the announcement of its discontinuation, but Audi ensured its swan song would be unforgettable. The R8 GT Limited Edition, restricted to just 150 units worldwide, was unveiled as the ultimate expression of the R8's 17-year legacy, a farewell love letter to the naturally aspirated V10 and the analog supercar ethos it represented. Every element of the GT Limited was engineered to celebrate the R8's history while pushing performance to new heights. The 5.2L V10 was tuned to 612 horsepower, making it the most powerful production R8 ever, while extensive use of carbon fiber, hood, side blades, rear diffuser, and fixed wing reduced weight to just 3,461 pounds, lighter than the original 2007 V8 model. The exterior wore an exclusive Audi Sport gray matte paint with contrasting red accents, while the interior featured laser-engraved, 1 of 150 plaques, and Alcantara-trimmed everything, from the steering wheel to the gear selector. For American buyers, the GT Limited wasn't just a car, it was a time capsule of internal combustion's golden age. Audi deliberately omitted hybrid assistance or turbocharging, ensuring the final R8 would be remembered for its mechanical purity. A screaming 8,700 RPM redline, a mechanical limited slip differential, and a thunderous exhaust note unencumbered by particulate filters. The suspension was lowered and stiffened, the magnetic dampers recalibrated for track use, and the carbon ceramic brakes, now with red calipers, provided fade-free stopping power. Yet, true to the R8's legacy, it retained daily drivable civility, a reminder that Audi had always prioritized real-world usability alongside supercar thrills. The GT Limited's significance was magnified by its timing. As competitors like Ferrari and McLaren embraced hybrid V6s and electric powertrains, the R8's unapologetic V10 roar felt like a rebellion against the industry's silent, software-driven future. Media outlets celebrated it as the last true analog supercar, with Road and Track calling it a victory lap for gasoline-powered emotion. Social media erupted as influencers and collectors scrambled to secure allocations, driving secondary market prices 50% above MSRP before deliveries even began. Audi also used this period to reflect on the R8's cultural impact. From its starring role in Iron Man to its ubiquity in hip-hop music videos and YouTube drag races, the R8 had transcended automotive circles to become a global pop culture icon. In the US, it had redefined what a supercar could be: approachable yet exotic, reliable yet thrilling, understated yet unforgettable. As the final R8 rolled off the production line in late 2025, Audi confirmed what many feared: there would be no direct successor. The next generation would be fully electric, leaving the GT Limited as the last of its kind, a machine that future generations would look back on with the same reverence as the original Quattro or the Auto Union Silver Arrow. For those lucky enough to own one, it wasn't just a car, it was a piece of history, the final, glorious chapter in the story of Audi's first and only supercar. When the first Audi R8 arrived on American shores in 2007, few could have predicted how profoundly this German-engineered supercar would reshape the U.S. automotive landscape. Unlike traditional European exotics that appealed only to the ultra-wealthy, the R8 carved out an entirely new niche, the attainable exotic, creating a cultural phenomenon that transcended car enthusiasts and permeated mainstream consciousness. What began as an ambitious experiment for Audi of America quickly became a blueprint for how to democratize supercar ownership without diluting prestige. The R8 success story in the U.S. is one of perfect timing, strategic marketing, and an uncanny ability to speak to American values of innovation, practicality, and showmanship. Perhaps no moment cemented the R8's American fame more than its starring role as Tony Stark's car in 2008's Iron Man overnight. The R8 became synonymous with cutting-edge technology and billionaire cool. its sleek lines and LED headlights embodying the film's futuristic aesthetic. This product placement was no accident. Audi's marketing team had aggressively pursued Hollywood integrations, understanding the cultural cachet they carried in image-conscious American markets. The payoff was immediate. Dealerships reported 300% increases in inquiries following the film's release, with many buyers specifically requesting the Iron Man car. This crossover into pop culture was unprecedented for a German brand traditionally associated with conservative luxury rather than superhero glamour. The R8's impact on American car culture extended beyond sales figures. It sparked a new wave of YouTube automotive content as influencers discovered its perfect blend of exotic looks and approachable personality. Channels like Vehicle Virgins and Shmee150 built their early followings around R8 content, showcasing everything from drag races against Lamborghinis to daily driving experiences. The car's reliability, a rarity in the supercar world, made it ideal for content creators who needed a vehicle that could withstand constant filming schedules without constant breakdowns. This grassroots digital exposure created a feedback loop. The more R8s appeared in viral videos, the more they became aspirational yet achievable for young American enthusiasts. Audi cleverly capitalized on this momentum through limited editions tailored specifically for the U.S. market. The R8 12 Hours of Sebring Edition 2008 celebrated Audi's motorsport dominance with unique badging and interior trim. The R8 Spider Chrome Edition 2012 offered exclusive chrome paint for flashier coastal markets. Most significantly, the R8 Decennium 2019 became an instant collector's item, with all 33 U.S. allocations selling out within hours. These special models created artificial scarcity in a market that craved exclusivity, ensuring the R8 remained desirable even as it aged. The aftermarket industry embraced the R8 like few European exotics before it. American tuning companies like GMG Racing and O.CT Tuning developed supercharger kits, pushing power to 700-plus horsepower, while West Coast shops specialized in wide-body conversions and custom paint jobs. This thriving modification scene gave the R8 something most exotics lacked: personalization potential, further endearing it to American buyers who valued individuality. The car became a fixture at cars and coffee events nationwide, equally at home beside vintage muscle cars and million-dollar hypercars. As the R8 enters its final years, its legacy in America is secure. It proved that a supercar could be both aspirational and practical, both exclusive and accessible. More than any European competitor, the R8 understood the American psyche, our love of technology, our appreciation for reliability, and our desire to stand out without seeming pretentious. It created an entirely new category of buyers who might never have considered an exotic otherwise, while simultaneously elevating Audi's entire brand perception. The R8's true American triumph wasn't just in units sold, over 15,000 since 2007, but in how it democratized supercar ownership without diminishing the magic. As the automotive world shifts toward electrification and autonomy, the R8 stands as a reminder of when cars were about emotion, engagement, and pure mechanical joy, values that will ensure its place in American garages and car culture for decades to come.